Being too friendly invites a lot of disrespect. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Real Talks That Matter, where we unpack life's toughest lessons and explore how to build a better, more authentic version of ourselves. I'm Jenny, and today we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for many of us. Being too friendly invites a lot of disrespect. Now, this isn't just about being nice or polite, it's about how overextending your kindness can actually backfire. It's about boundaries, self-worth, and learning the difference between being kind and being a doormat. So, if you've ever felt taken for granted, walked all over, or disrespected despite your best intentions, then stay tuned. This episode is for you. 1. Let's define too friendly. First, let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with being friendly. In fact, the world could use more kindness. But too friendly? That's when it becomes a problem. Being too friendly can look like saying yes to everything, even when it's inconvenient. Always trying to please everyone, even at your own expense. Laughing off rude behavior just to avoid conflict. Constantly going out of your way for people who wouldn't do the same for you. When we behave this way, we think we're building bridges. But often, we're laying down pavement for others to walk all over us. 2. Why do we become too friendly? Let's get real, this tendency usually doesn't come from a bad place. It often stems from fear of rejection. We think if we're always nice, people will like us. Desire for approval. We crave validation and want to be seen as good or easygoing. Low self-esteem. Deep down, we may not believe we're worthy of setting boundaries. Past trauma or upbringing. Maybe we grew up in environments where saying no wasn't safe, or where we were taught that love is something you earn by being overly accommodating. And sometimes, it's just habit. You're used to putting others first because it's what you've always done. But here's the kicker: being overly nice doesn't earn you more respect, it often does the opposite. 3. Kindness is not the problem, lack of boundaries is. Let's not confuse kindness with weakness. You can be kind and assertive. You can be warm and have boundaries. The problem arises when kindness comes without limits. Think about it: when you're always available, always agreeable, always accommodating, people start to expect it. And over time, they stop appreciating it. Your kindness becomes normal, then expected, then exploited. You go from being respected to being used. Let me give you a quick analogy. Imagine you're offering someone a free ride every day. At first, they're grateful. Then, they expect it. Then, one day you can't make it, and suddenly they're mad. Not grateful for the 100 rides you gave before, just upset about the one you didn't. That's what happens when friendliness goes unchecked. 4. The subtle signs you're being disrespected. Sometimes, disrespect doesn't look like direct insults. It's subtle. It sneaks in through behavior, tone, and patterns. Here are some red flags. People constantly interrupt you or talk over you. They only reach out when they need something. They take advantage of your time or resources. They mock your generosity or treat your kindness as weakness. They push your boundaries and expect you to bend every time. And the worst part? When you finally stand up for yourself, they say, "Wow, what's your problem?" Because they've gotten so used to the version of you that never says no. 5. The psychology behind disrespect. There's a harsh truth here: people often respect what they have to work for. If you're always accessible, always forgiving, always bending, people subconsciously assume that you don't value yourself enough to set limits. It's not right, but it's real. Humans are wired to push boundaries to test what's acceptable. And if your boundaries are made of paper, people won't treat you like you're made of steel. 6. Personal story time. Let me share a quick story. There was a time in my life when I prided myself on being the nice guy. I would say yes to every request. Help everyone move. Lend money. Stay late at work. Cover shifts. Listen to people's problems for hours, even when I was emotionally drained. And what happened? I got burned out. People stopped saying thank you. Some even got annoyed when I said no. That's when I realized it wasn't that people were bad. It was that I had trained them to treat me this way. I had taught them that my time and energy were always available no matter what. And that's on me. That's when I began changing. I learned to say no. To value my time. To be kind but firm. And guess what? I didn't lose friends. I lost users. And the real ones? They stayed. They adjusted. And the respect? It actually increased. 7. How to be kind without being a pushover. Let's talk solutions. Here's how you can stay friendly without inviting disrespect. A. Start saying no without guilt. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain or justify every decision. Practice saying it without the need to soften it excessively. B. Set boundaries early. Teach people how to treat you from day one. Boundaries are not walls, they're doors with locks. You decide who gets access, when, and how. C. Don't be afraid of conflict. You're allowed to disagree. You're allowed to stand up for yourself. Conflict handled with maturity leads to growth, not destruction. D. Check your motives. Are you helping someone because you want to or because you feel obligated, afraid, or guilty? The motive matters more than the act. E. Respect yourself first. People mirror the energy you project. If you don't value yourself, why should they? 8. Reclaiming your power. You don't need to become cold or harsh. You don't need to change your nature. But you do need to protect it. Reclaim your power by recognizing your worth. By realizing that being liked isn't as important as being respected. That you can be warm, loving, and generous and still say, "This is not okay." 9. How to respond to disrespect when it happens. Here are a few scripts you can use when you feel disrespected. I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. I need to take a step back from this conversation. That doesn't work for me. I've been feeling like my time isn't being respected. Let's talk when we can both be respectful. Notice something? These aren't aggressive. They're clear. Calm. Assertive. That's your power. 10 final thoughts. You teach people how to treat you. Let that sink in. You teach people how to treat you. By what you allow. By what you tolerate. By what you reinforce. So if you've been too friendly for too long, and you've noticed that disrespect follows, don't be ashamed. You're not alone. It's a journey. But starting today, you can draw the line. Not to become someone else but to protect the best parts of who you are. Remember, kindness is a strength. But without boundaries, it becomes a weakness. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Real Talks That Matter. If today's episode hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've ever struggled with being too friendly, I'd love to hear your story. Drop a comment at English Roots. Until next time, stay kind but stay strong. I'm Jenny, signing off. Take care.